to everyone. I'm Emanuele Circozzi, a PhD student at the University of L'Aquila, a city near Rome. And today I will present a work entitled Evaluating Thermal Decay of Post-Earthquake Temporary House in L'Aquila, an integrated IRT and LEM approach. First of all, special thanks to my laboratory from L'Aquila, particular to my professors, Ambrosini, Paoletti, and Luis, and my technicians, Giovanni Prospaloni, for their fundamental scientific and technical support. So the object of the study are some houses that were built after the 2009 earthquake in L'Aquila to support the population affected by the earthquake. The aim of these houses was to mix the safety with the energy efficiency. These houses were part of a project called Progetto Case, and they were intended as temporary and provisional structure, but without an expiration date. So, after 16 years after the earthquake, these houses are still in L'Aquila, and I and my research group asked if, even if 16 years after the earthquake and after their construction, the buildings were maintaining their initial energy characteristics. So, the work is focused on the energy efficiency of the building, so the analysis of their energy efficiency and their thermal transmittance in particular. The study was conducted in three main phases. In particular, the first phase is on the analysis of the building characteristics. The second phase is on the evaluation of the thermal transmittance value, and the third and last phase is about the energy analysis. So the method chosen for the experimental analysis was the infrared thermography technique, IRT technique, that is quite different than the more common method, that is the head-flux-meter method, because the HFM method measures the head flux through conduction, while the IRT technique measures the head flux through radiation and convection. Then, head-flux-meter method provides for a minimum measurement duration of 3 days, while IRT technique provides an instantaneous measurement. Finally, HFM method involves the use of contact probes, while IRT technique no. So, as you can see, IRT technique is more speed and less invasive than the HFM method. And by in-depth research literature, we discovered that the deviation in IRT results is comparable to the deviation in HFM method. So we can use the IRT technique for the field of application. The two buildings that were chosen as case study building are two buildings near L'Aquila, and they are similarly they have similar construction topologies, even if the single layers that constitute the wall are quite different. First of all, we conducted a study about the thermal transmittance via theoretical approach. In particular, we tried the thermal resistance of the wall by adding the conductive resistances and the surface resistances. And then we found the thermal transmittance as inverse the thermal resistance. This type of study served to try to find the design value of the thermal transmittance. Following the experimental approach, we use the Abbati-Centonelli formula equation in order to find the thermal transmittance value, the current thermal transmittance value. As we can see, the Abbati-Centonelli equation comprehends both the radiation and the convection in the flux measurement. The investigation with the IRT technique were carried out during the spring, in few morning during the spring. And first of all, we found the external surface temperature by framing a point of the wall far from thermal bridge. Then we found the external and the internal air temperature with the concept of the black body. In particular, for the external temperature, we used PVC type, that is an object with 5-6 times length respect to this opening. So we found external air temperature by framing the bottom of the tube. Then we found the internal air temperature by framing a point of the room inside the building during a quietly opening of the window. In this case, the black body is represented by the room. Comparing with it, the opening of the window has naturally limited dimensions. Finally, we found the airspeed with an out-wire anemometer. And as the third and last phase, we conducted the energy analysis. In particular, two models of each building was made. The first model with the same value of the thermal transmittance, while the second model with the current value of the thermal transmittance. The information about the two buildings were found inside the design records and design drawings. Just a clarification about the HVAC system. It is the same for both buildings, and it has modular condensing boilers as generators and radiators as terminal. Domestic water production is guaranteed partly by the boiler and partly by solar thermal modules instead of the roof. And there are no mechanical ventilation systems in the residences. So the energy simulation focused only on the consumption due to the thermal heating. As for the windows, they have a thermal transmittance of 1.2 watt per square meter Kelvin. This table shows the results of the study. As you can see, there was a worsening in the thermal transmittance values of up to 37% for the first building. And this worsening in the thermal transmittance led to an increase of the heating consumption, obviously, of approximately 10%. So we can conclude saying that a particular protocol maintenance is important, even if for the temporary houses, particularly when they become long-term residences. Future developments could involve the use of different approaches to find the thermal transmittance and compare this different approach in order to increase the reliability of the data obtained. And a future development could involve also the study of other parameters that could have a significant impact on the overall energy consumption of the buildings. This is the bibliography, and thank you for your attention.